Hello, thank you for joining us for this live webinar on the different CMAs within Flex. I'm glad you made it. We will be recording this webinar, so you will be able to find it later when Justin posts it on the cdaronline.org website. I also have opened up the question and answer field in this Zoom webinar. So maybe after each section, if I can, time permitting, I will look at those questions and answer them at certain points within this webinar. So I am going to go ahead and we will get started with the one-line CMA. Today we'll be covering the full CMA, the quick CMA, and also the statistical CMA for you number crunchers. All of these CMAs start with a quick search. So I'm going to go ahead with the one-line CMA, and we're going to go ahead and begin with a quick search. I'm going to get rid of my video over here on the screen, just so it doesn't get in my way. So my video is now off. So for a one-line CMA, what we want to do first of all is select multiple statuses. And to select multiple statuses, you need to hold down the Control key on your keyboard. So hold Control, and then you can select multiple statuses. If you're on a Mac, that's going to be Command. And now we have our off-market dates. If your off-market dates look like this, where you have a date range, all you need to do is select these opposing arrows. And this is an easier way that I found that I like. So it has days right here, and if you click on here, you can change it to months or years. So for this purpose, I'm just going to go back 6 months. And let's change this close dates to months, and we'll put in 6 months back for this. Now we need to select an area that we want to do our one-line CMA on. And I'm going to go into the city of Rancho Mirage. So I'm going to type Rancho Mirage. And when I see it come up, highlighted in blue, if I click enter, it enters it into my search criteria. So I have 782 results. Now I need to narrow that down. And what I'm going to do is go into this subdivision field, and this is kind of a little tip that I'm showing you here. So once you select your city, or you could use an area, when you go into subdivision and click on this See All, it's going to show you the available subdivisions in that area or city. And these are the subdivisions within Rancho Mirage. And I know a lot of you have expressed problems with selecting, I'm going to use Mission Hills for an example, because there's many little different subdivisions that belong to Mission Hills. So this is a very easy way to select them. So I have them all the Mission Hills right here. So I can select all the subdivisions that have Mission Hills right within this window. I don't have to type anything. And you can use that within other areas or other subdivisions that you know have a similar issue. Okay, so I've selected all these Mission Hills, and I'm going to click on Finished. And now it's added all these Mission Hill subdivisions, and I have 118 results, or 115. So let's go ahead and narrow this down a little bit more. because we are doing a one-line CMA, so we don't want to have too many results here. So why don't we put in bedrooms and see if that makes a difference. So I'll put in 3 bedrooms. Actually, let's try 4 bedrooms. Let's go 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms. So we have 24 results. Okay, that's good. And just in case you're not aware of this, these different colors here represented in the map, they all represent a different status. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. So we have green and blue, and if you click on this little colorful circle here in the corner, this is your legend. So we can see the actives are the greens and the closed are the blues. Okay, so we will go in and we will view our search results. And I'm going to go into the line view, the single line. And let's look at our square footage here. In fact, I'm going to click on the heading and I'm going to sort it by ascending square footage. So I have some properties that are quite large here that I think I am not going to include. So I'm going to select all of these listings, and then I'm going to deselect these properties that are too big. Another way to do this is go back into your edit search, because while you're doing a CMA, you're going to be wanting to adjust it, so you'll have to go back and forth between edit search until you get exactly what you want. So I'm going to go into my square footage field, and let's just put a range of 3,000 to 4,000 square feet and see how we do. Okay, I have 17, and let's look at these results again. I'm going to select this icon where I get the thumbnail photo. Okay, so we can adjust our columns. And we have different days on the market. Let's sort these results by days on the market. So if you click on this heading, it sorts your results by days on the market. And you can do this with any field that's important to you. So I've selected to sort by days on the market. And I have certain properties selected. I'm going to go ahead and select all and then deselect. I'm going to go over to the right. These are our action buttons, and click on CMA. And we just go over to our one-line CMA. And this is our one-line CMA. It sorts it by statuses, so these are all our active properties. We have our average, our minimum, maximum, and median. And then under the closed section, we also have minimum, maximum, and median. And this is your sales price column. So it gives you your averages, your minimum, maximum, and median. And that's all there is to it. The one-line CMA is great. It has all your information right here in a very concise one-page report. So you can quickly get this done and email it. If you come up here to the right, you can email this CMA or you can print it. Let me just click on email just so you can see what that looks like. So this is our standard email format that we use within FlexMLS. You just click in here and you can select a contact. You can send yourself a copy. If you have templates set up, email templates, you can choose a template. And I have a one-line CMA template set up. We've gone over that in past webinars. So I just choose my one-line CMA, and I have a preset body, and I would just customize this. And I would just put their name in here to personalize it. And then I did a one-line comparative market analysis for your home, and then you fill in your body, put the subject, and then your email is ready to go, and you just send the page. I'm going to close this tab, and now we're back into our MLS. If you click on CMA, you can also download this to your computer for future use if you want to just send it out quickly to a client. It'll be saved on your computer. Okay, now we're going to get into the full CMA, and the full CMA has a subject property. So if a client calls you up and says, hey, I want to sell my house, the first thing you want to do is get the comps that are around your subject property. So to do this, we're going to start with a search again. So let's go into our quick search and start all over. And you can do a radius search. Now, if you're not familiar, you can use your quick launch bar to do a radius search. And all you do is click in this quick launch bar, and we're going to type near. And once you type near, it's going to default to a 1 mile radius from whatever address you put in. So the address I've selected today is just a random address I picked out of the MLS, 77080 Delgado. And we will click a new tab. Here it comes up. Oh, it's a 2 mile radius. Okay. So here we go. Flex is doing a radius search. It's got 225 results. So what I need to do is come into Edit Search. And let me show you another way to get a radius search with a smaller radius. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go back and click on Quick Search again. Okay, so I'm going to close this box out. Over in the right-hand lower corner, we have a push pin, and this push pin will locate our subject property. So when you click it, it brings up this box to locate the address. So I'm going to type my Delgado address in here one more time. We'll put the city, state, and zip. I think it will pick it up with just the zip code. If it doesn't work, you need to add the city and state. So let's locate and see if that works. Okay, so we need to zoom in. You can click this plus sign, and that will zoom in. And now we can see that this is the location. It's the correct address. If your push pin is not in the right area, all you do is click on the map and you can slide it so you're in the right location. This is also useful when you're mapping a listing. Sometimes we're mapping a listing and our map is way off. Just come in here and slide it over That seems to work better than moving the pin, so slide your map. Okay, so we are going to click on Use this location, and we get our little dialog box that pops up, and we're going to click on Radius Search. And we'll do a 1 mile radius. You can type half a mile if you'd like, or a quarter mile. It's up to you, whatever you want. Let's try a quarter mile and see what happens. We have 9 results. Let's come over to our status. And for this CMA, we're going to want to select closed. So hold Control and select close and deselect active. Or in this case, if you're only using one selection, you can just click on closed. So our close date, let's see what happens when we go 6 months back. We have 10 results, and I think that's good for comps. I believe that's enough comps. The subject property is about 3,000 square feet. So let's see what happens when we put our square footage in here. Let's go 2,700 square feet, and let's go up to 3,500 square feet and see how our results do. So I've got 3 results in that case. I'm going to go ahead and adjust the close date a little bit. I'm going to select years. If I click here, it goes from days to months to years, remember. And I'm going to go ahead and put 1 year back. And I have 5 comps, and I believe that is great for a CMA for the subject property. So what you want to do next is take a look at your listings. Okay, here we go. We have our 5 listings. Some are 3-bedroom, some are 2-bedroom. Most of them have a pool. I think I will get rid of this listing that does not have a pool. So I'm going to select all the results, but then I will deselect this listing. I don't want to use it in my comps because it doesn't have a pool. Okay, so we can look at these comps in detail view. And go over them, be sure it's what you want. You can look at the photos. Okay, so I have 4 out of 5 properties selected, and I will click right here on this selected button. It's right next to the results button. So when I click on selected, what this does, it gives me the ability, let's go into our list view. When you're in a selected status here, while viewing your listings, you're able to rearrange the order. So you can click and drag and change the order of the listings within the selected field here while viewing search results. And then the other way that you can change the way they show up is, again, go into list view, and then you can arrange it with these headings. So I'm going to sort this today by bedrooms. So now I have a sort by bedrooms, and I can go up, and let's go ahead and start our full CMA. Now that our search is done, we've selected what properties we want to use, we've gone over them. So we click our CMA button, and we're going to use our selected results. We have the option when we're going to use all the results, we can click here, and we're going to use selected results for this example today. And Here's our full CMA. It's selected. And you just need to come down to this little button on the bottom and go to Next Step. And this is the cover page. You can see up here, we're in the tab, it says Cover Page. And you're going to put in your client's name. This is for my client. And I'm just going to put my client's name here. As of, you can select a date. So if you're going to start this CMA, but you're not ready to send it out, let's select Always Use Current Date. And that will have the date that you send it out on the report. Down in this comments box, you can type whatever you'd like. Give an explanation of how you chose the comps. You selected all properties that have pools. Put whatever you like in there. This is going to go on your cover page that has your branding along. It has a primary photo of the subject property. And that's all we need to do on the cover page. This is kind of like a wizard. It just walks you through, just fill in the blanks as you're going. So you can manually put in your address here, and that was 77080 Delgado. And you can manually enter information into these fields. But there's another way that you can do this. I'm going to take this information out. So you can auto-populate the fields from an existing listing. So if your property has been listed before, this is a great little tool. Just click on auto-populate fields from existing listing. Well, when we click here, it's going to ask us for an MLS number. So let me show you the best way to find the MLS number while you're doing your comp. If you don't have it written down, you would just go up to this quick launch bar and type the subject property's address in here. And it'll come up down here. So this has been listed several times, I could see. So what you want to do is open this in a new tab. You can actually write the MLS number down here, or you can just open it up in a new tab. And you can highlight the listing number. And if you right click, it'll copy. And then you go back to this tab where you're creating your CMA right here. Go back here. Now click Auto Populate Fields from Existing Listing, this button. We're going to click. And then we can right click and paste our MLS number right into here. And then submit. And as you can see, it's populated all our fields for us. And we now have a primary photo. These fields are adjustable. If you have a field that you don't particularly want, you can exit off, and that gets rid of that field. You can also arrange these fields by clicking on this arrow here. And then you have to use these little side arrows and it'll move one line at a time. So watch Pool. It's going up the list one click at a time. So that's how you rearrange your fields. I don't see square footage over here, so let's go into our new item button, and we're going to go ahead and add a field over to this CMA. So click new item, come over to this select button and click on that. And let's just begin typing square footage. Oh, there it is. So there it is right in our list. Click on square footage, and now it's been added over into our template. It hasn't populated though. And let's go ahead and add another item. Let's see what other item we'd like to have in here. Maybe if it has a casita. So we've added another field. And also, I just want to mention over here on your left, these are templates that you've created and saved before. So I do have a residential CMA template, and I'm going to click on this. And look at that, it's got all these different fields already in it. So we can use different templates. Let me click on this residential one, and I'm going to go ahead and let me auto-populate this again. So it auto-populated some information, but these fields are empty. So we can go ahead and X these fields out because they're just going to show up blank. So let's get rid of these fields on our CMA. And now I wanted to point something out to you. There's a little box under this price per square foot. So go into your approximate square footage, select this box, and then it's going to give your price per square foot on your CMA. Okay, so that pretty much covers everything you need to know within this template. And we can go into our next step. You can click next step down at the bottom right, or you can click on this tab at the top. I will go ahead and click next step at the bottom right of the screen. And this is going to show us our comps. This is our comp window. If at the last minute you decide you don't want to use one of these comps, you can close it by clicking on the red X. You can change the location of a comp by clicking on here. And you can report a mapping issue if you click on this little world icon here. It'll send a message to the agent that it needs to be remapped. You can also add comparables from within this window. So let's click on this Add Comparables button. You can add non-MLS comparables if you knew of a for sale by owner property. You can click on the Create New Comparable. And if you know the address, the list, and sold price, you can go ahead and add it there. Or you can add MLS comparables here. If you know an MLS number specifically, you can enter that and add the comp. If there's anything within a listing collection you want to add, you can add that from here. So let's go ahead and return to the CMA. And we're going to go to our next step. So most of you will not use this adjustments field. To use adjustments, you need to know how much for example, I'm going to click on bathrooms, okay? So we could see within our comps how many bathrooms each property has. So our subject property has 3, this listing has 3, and then these other ones have 4. So we would, if we were going to make an adjustment, we would adjust these properties down because they have more bathrooms. So I don't advise using this adjustments tab or this area because you really need to know what a bathroom is worth. But I'm just going to show you, I'm going to make up a price and just show you how you can use this. If you wanted to know that information, maybe your broker knows, maybe you know an appraiser that knows, a builder, maybe somebody you know knows that information. And I will show you how that is used. You can just manually, I'm going to say a bathroom's worth $20,000. So you can manually make an adjustment. I can type minus 20,000 here, and I can manually adjust these listings. But to make an auto adjustment, you can make a list for auto adjustments. So if you go into this edit adjustment list, I have one in here that I've created. I'm going to remove it. So go to add new, and we're going to select our property type, residential. And we're going to select what the adjustment's for, and it's for a bath. And then we're going to put our value. So we're going to put 20,000. And don't forget, this is just a number I pulled out of a hat. This is not a real number. And now I'm going to click Save. And now I have this adjustment added. So let's go back, and you can add more. Now let's go back to our CMA. And we're going to click on Auto Adjust Comparables. And it's giving us a little warning. It's telling us it's going to adjust the prices. And we'll say OK. And it's telling us that no relevant adjustments were made. Let's try that again. Okay, well, there was no adjustments made. Let me see if I can change any of these comps so I could show you an example. Let me see if I change this comp. If I can get this to work. Well, sorry guys. What would happen is you would click on Auto Adjust Comparables, and it'll tell you how many adjustments are made, and it'll show them over here. And then you just come over here and reset. Click a couple times, and it'll make the adjustments. Okay, well, since most of you aren't going to be using this anyway, we'll just go on, and we're going to go to our next step. And this is our summary, and you don't do anything within this page. This is going to give you the summary of your closed listings. We have our low, average, and median prices. We have our price per square foot for each listing. And we have the overall market analysis down here, average days on the market, average sold price. And now this is the good part. We're going into the recommendation tab. And this is where FlexMLS picks a recommended price based on your comps. So you can come in here, and if you don't like that 500 on the end of this recommended price, you can change it out and add zeros. And you can also adjust this recommended price by a percentage. So if you click here to calculate it by a percentage above and below the recommended price, this is awesome. Click here and you can select the percentage you want. So watch these numbers. I'm going to put in 5% and then recalculate. So now it's made an adjustment 5% below and above the recommended price. And like I said, you could come in here and you could clean up these numbers. Let's change it back to 2.5%. Let's recalculate that. And again, we can come in and clean up those recommended prices. We have our low, our high, and our recommended price. Okay, and that's all you need to do to give yourself a full CMA. We're going to go to our finish, which is our next step. And this will let you select what you want to show within your full CMA. So I have a cover page, I have a map, I can get a street map or a satellite map. And just so you know, once we look at this, you can always come back and deselect parts of this report that you do not want to include. Okay, so we have a side-by-side comparison of all the listings. We have our search parameters. We have some statistical summary charts. You can pick a color, and this is just the color that appears on the top of the page. I'm going to pick navy. And then you can click on, you can select what type of report you want to print out on each comp. So normally you would print out a report so your seller can look at a detailed report on the comps that you selected. So you can select what report your client is going to see, and then you can select public or private. And so we'll leave that on public. And you can choose to print all the listings, or you can not print the listings. That's up to you. So let's go ahead. I'm going to download this full CME. It'll take just a minute. And here it is. So we have our cover page. It has your client's name, and here's the date up here. We have your branding here. It'll have your picture, if you have your picture in your profile. And here's the comments that we typed in on the very beginning. This is the primary photo. It pulled out of the listing. And this is our map view. Here's our subject property, and you can see the distance of these listings in relation to your subject property. It also shows the distance from the subject property in this page. And here's the statistics on your subject property. And here's a side-by-side. We have your subject property in the first row, and here are your comps, so you can do a side-by-side comparison. And there was one more comp, and again, it places it right next to the subject property. And they can do a side-by-side comparison of each property. Then we go into those stats and graphs. So you can look at those and see if you want to include those or not. This listing looks very high, so you might want to go back and adjust your comps and remove this. You might not want to include that in your report. And then here's our summary of closed properties. We have our low, average, median, and high price. This is that one listing that was high on the bar in our graph. We might want to get rid of that. Here's our comparison based on square footage. And then we have our recommended price page. We have our low, high, and recommended price on this sheet. And then we have the printouts. So we can go back into the Flex MLS, and let's say we decide we don't want the statistical summary report. We can get rid of that. And then from this finish page, you can download this to your computer. You can save it, and you can email this. So let's go ahead and save this. And we're going to save this CMA to our client. Let's say it's Bob. Actually, let's use the property address. Okay, so we have our property address. It's a new CMA, and let's go ahead and save that. So now we have, under our Save CMAs, we have this CMA. If we click it, we can view it, we can edit it, we can rename it, or we can remove it. I'm going to click on this Client A Saved CMA, and I'm going to remove it. And let's click on our Delgado, and let's say we want to edit it. So we can come in and we can make edits. Let's say we want to remove this property, and we want to rerun the CMA, we can do that. And from in this window, we can also go back to our search results. It's telling us we're leaving the page. And we can edit our search results. So we can go in and we can massage our results in our fields if we decide that we wanted to do something different with our search results. Okay, that covers our full CMA. I'm going to go up here and check and see if there's any questions. If you have a question, you can go ahead and, let's see, I have no questions. That's great. So let's go on to our quick CMA. This quick CMA has a purpose, and what it is it's like the one-line CMA, only it's expanded. And then within the full CMA, you know, that side-by-side comparison. So the quick CMA is a side-by-side, and this can be used, it has a couple purposes. Like, let's say you want to send your clients out and they're going to go look at 4 open houses. Of course, it's not going to pertain to today, but hopefully soon. So let's say you have 4 open houses. You can use this quick CMA, use those 4 properties, run the quick CMA, and give your client a sheet that they can take and look at a side-by-side comparison of the 4 open houses they have. And you could put that on top of a detailed report for each listing. But this does help your clients with comparing properties. Another way you can use it is if you have a client interested in a certain subdivision. You can use this quick CMA and it'll give you a side-by-side comparison of the properties. And you can put that also on a cover with the detailed reports of each property. But it does help you to look at the properties and compare the features and prices. So it does have a purpose. So let's go ahead and let's run a report. I'm going to go ahead and use a subdivision. I'm going to go ahead and let's try, I'm going to try La Quinta. Let's see. Let me click La Quinta. Okay, so I have the city of La Quinta. And let me see what subdivisions we have in La Quinta. I'm going to click on See All. Okay, here's our subdivisions. I'm going to choose La Quinta Cove. And I selected it. And now I'm going to click on Finish. And how I did that was, again, just to remind you, I put a city, and then I clicked in the subdivision section, clicked on See All, which showed me all the subdivisions within La Quinta. Okay, so I have 47 listings. Now let's say my client is interested in 3 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. I have 13 listings, and let's say they wanted over 2,000 square feet. I have 5 listings. So let's go ahead and use these 5 listings. We're in the status of active. We're going to use these 5 listings to run a quick CMA. So I'm just going to go ahead and skip over viewing the listings. But you do know that you can view them, decide which ones are right for your client. You can sort them. We can sort by square footage here. And let's go into our CMA. And we're going to use all our results since we didn't select any and we only have 5 properties that met our criteria. So we'll select all results. And now we're going to go into our quick CMA and go into next step. So to use this with the application that I went over as like a cover page for your clients, select cover page because that will give them your information on the cover. And then we're going to use we're going to deselect this comparison by status because we only have one status. So we're going to select the side-by-side comparison. We're going to deselect the summary. And we are going to print all the listings. Now let's go ahead and take a look. So this is your cover page. You have a side-by-side comparison of the listings. So they can easily just look at them and compare them. And let's go back. Let's do a detail report for each one. And we have a public report. I'm going to download this so you can see what it looks like. And that's ready. Let's open that up. So you have it's called a CMA. You're going to have your contact information, your picture on the cover page. And then you have a nice side-by-side where they can compare the price, the days on the market, and then you have all the detailed sheets. So that's one way that you can use that quick CMA. And we have one CMA left. Let me see if I have any questions. Nope. Okay, so we have one CMA left, and that is the Statistical CMA and the 1004 MC report. So to run this, we're going to start off with a quick search. We're going to close this box and we're going to do a radius search again on our property. We'll enter our zip code and we'll locate our property. Use this location. Click on that, use this location, and we'll do a radius search, 1 mile. And what you want to do on this report is to deselect your status. Hold Control and deselect. You don't want any statuses in here. So we're going to go in and we're going to put a square footage in here. We're going to put 3,000 as our starting point for square footage. And we're going to say we want a private pool, and that's located under pool location. We'll click on private. And we want 4 bedrooms. So click on total bedrooms and put 4. Okay, so now we're going to go into our CMA. We're going to use all our results. And we're going over to our Statistical CMA, and let's click on Next Step. And I'm going to show you what you want to select within this Create Statistical CMA window. So include total row at bottom of statistics. You want to select that. And then we want to select our Fannie Mae 1004 MC report. Just so you know, this is how you get it. And it has today's date for the effective date. That's why we didn't put any dates in the beginning in our search field, because you set the date here. And let's select our median calculation. It's always nice to have a median. And I see I have 2 questions, and I'll get to those in just a few minutes. Thank you for your questions. Okay, so let's go ahead and view our results for this statistical report. So it sorts it according to status. You have your active, pending, sold, expireds. You have your listing volume here, your sold volume, list prices, sold prices, square footage, price per square foot, and you have your days in the MLS. And down at the bottom, you have your 1004 MC statistical report, which some appraisers may ask you for, or if you're an appraiser, if you use this, it gives you your prior 7 to 12 month statistics. So it does give you some date ranges here, and it gives you the median list price, median days on the market, sale price. So for all of you that love to crunch numbers, this is a great report. Now I'm going to show you another way to use this report, and let's go back. We're going back to our search results. Let me just take a look at these questions. Okay, so someone asked, does the radius search always default to a circle? Yes, it does. Yes, I will show you again how to get the radius. And the 1004 MC report, lenders did require it. So it was required in the past for certain types of loans. Do I go to the non-MLS to be able to do a comp with this subject property? If I were you, I believe that if you type the address in locate, it's going to locate the property whether it was listed or not when you're doing a radius search. So go ahead and let me show you again how to do a radius search. Go to quick search. And go to this push pin. And for you that asked if you can use a non-listed address here, yes, I believe you can. This is a Google locating button here. So I'm going to go ahead and put my address in again. So you just go to the bottom of your map screen. What we did is we went to quick search. I'm going to run through it again. We went to quick search, starting a brand new search. Close this window, and there's a little push pin at the bottom. Click there and type your address in here. In here meaning this little dialog box that came up. Some properties you will need to fill in the city, state. For this property, all I need to do is put in the zip code and it locates my property. So then just click on the locate button and the push pin on the map signifies where the property is. So you can do this for non-listed properties also. So what you want to do then is click on use this location and then click radius search and tell it the distance. I'm going to put 1/2 mile in here and then create your radius. Then you'll want to zoom out so you can take a look at it. So my example gives me 25 results. Okay, thank you for the questions. Okay, I'm going to use this radius search for the other option that I'm going to show you within the statistical report. So I'm going to change the status to closed. Actually, I just realized that that's not going to work for the example I want to give you. Okay, so what I have done is I've set up a search. Let me go into my saved searches. Let me open up one of these saved searches I did just to show you this example. And as soon as it opens, we'll look at the search parameters I have here. I just need to check one thing. Okay. So if I go into, I have this search called closed 1 year desert cities by zip. So what I did, I went and I put in 8 zip codes, and I hope I included most of the valley. Anyway, so I put in all the zip codes, and how I got the zip codes was I went over. I see there's more questions, and I'll get to those very shortly. Oh gosh, we're going into the end of our session, but let me show you this real quickly. So I have all my cities selected. I'm going to go into the closed status, and for this specific use of the Statistical CMA, I'm only going to use our Greater Palm Springs MLS. So I need to click on the MLSs here, and I hold down Control, and I'm going to deselect the other MLSs. Sorry, other MLSs. Okay, so now I'm going to go into my CMA, use all results. So I have all the desert cities closed listings. So I'm in my statistical CMA. I'm going to click on next step. I have my total rows included. I'm not selecting the Fannie Mae. And down in this little drop down menu, so this is where the fun begins, guys. Group this statistical CMA by, I'm going to group it by subdivision. Okay, so I'm going to see all the closed properties listed by subdivision. So this is great information here. You can see all the sales that closed within these subdivisions. I believe I have it set for 1 year back. So if you're a new agent and you want to see, well, where's a good place that's active where I should sit some open houses for some of my seasoned agents, you can look through here and you can see where are the most active subdivisions. I have 197 closed sales here in Indian Palms, 243 in La Quinta Cove. So just wanted to show you that real quick. Our hour is up. Let me take a look and see if I can answer any of these new questions real quickly. If you have a lot, how do you do a CMA? Well, I think you need to go into your search. When you go into quick search, you need to go into your land and lot, your lands and lot search template. Will I also be able to see a side-by-side comparison showing the subject property not in the MLS? No, I don't think so. Okay, thanks. Thanks for coming. I answered all the questions that I could. We are at 12 o'clock. And if you have any further questions, this is recorded. It will be up on the website within, Justin will get it up within 24 hours probably, or within a couple days. And if you have any additional questions, just give me a call. I'm at the California Desert Association of Realtors, or send me an email. My email address is training@cdaronline.org. And I really appreciate you taking your time to join in on this webinar. Stay safe. Let me turn my video back on so I could say goodbye. Oh. Bye, everybody. Stay safe. Have a great weekend.